Good afternoon. Welcome to the Randal Jenkins Real Estate Radio Hour, where each week we talk real estate, we talk life tips. And today we have a special guest, Eric Jenkins. I'm going to give him a nice introduction as soon as I give my introduction for the radio show. This is the Randal Jenkins Radio Show here on Tan Talk Radio, 1340 and 1350 AM. And on FM 106.1. You can catch the replays on YouTube at Tan Talk Radio and at Randal Jenkins Real Estate. Each week, we pull back the curtain on how real estate works. This isn't a show where we read the headlines and tell you that mortgage rates were up 0.1%. There are plenty of places to get information. This show is about something much more valuable. It's about understanding the hidden mechanics behind buying, selling, negotiating, marketing, and investing in real estate. We do this by telling stories, making commentary, and asking questions that you may not have even thought of. Whether you're a buyer, a seller, an investor, or a real estate professional, my goal is simple. When this hour is over, you'll understand something you didn't understand before. Because I believe we're no longer in the information business. Information is everywhere. You can ask Google, you can ask Zillow, you can ask AI. What matters today is interpretation, context, strategy, transformation. We want to help change the way people think. And that's what we do here every week. Now, co-hosting today is Eric Jenkins. Eric is a hardworking, detail-oriented realtor with 9 years of experience. 10 years, and it goes up all the time. And more than 380 successful transactions across 9 counties. 10. It's inflation. He's an exceptional marketer whose professionalism, consistent service have earned him hundreds of client testimonials. Based at the Keller Williams Realty Palm Harbor office, second floor, no window, Eric benefits from outstanding leadership, training, and a dedicated support team. Whether buying, selling, or investing, his clients can expect responsive communication, expert guidance, and a commitment to achieving the best possible results. Eric, welcome to the show.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
He's thanking all 4 people who are watching on YouTube. Our biggest audience is actually driving in traffic, we hope. Hitting scan and dropping in on who's these guys talking about real estate on the radio. Well, today it's Randal and Eric Jenkins, brothers from the same mother, but at different companies. And that dovetails nicely into one of the opportunities that I have for realtors out there. And that is that I have a marketing group of realtors, and we're all from different companies. And we allow each other to market each other's listings. This allows us to brag that when we take a listing, we're not the only ones that are working on that house. All of our members of our marketing group are there to sell and market their property. Eric, how are we doing? How's the market? How are you feeling?
Oh, great, great, great. Good time to be a buyer, and it's a good time to be a seller.
Thank you. Well, we've been talking for the last 10 weeks about real estate and various topics related to real estate. One of the, or 3 of the episodes we did was 25 real estate tips, 26 real estate tips, 27 real estate tips. And today we're going to do another episode of real estate tips. This actually gives us an opportunity to talk about a lot of different subjects without having to get too deep into any one subject. So we're going to go by numbers. And these are not in order of priority. These are just in order of numerical order. Number 1, contractors and attorneys that you use in your real estate endeavors, you would really be well off to use a local contractor and a local attorney. The attorneys that are in each county, they know the judges, they know the systems, they know the clerk of the court, they know the property appraiser. Local contractors know the permit office and the systems there. They know the inspectors. And this came up the other day when a a guy who's got a whole bunch of properties here in the area that he's never seen. And he was telling me that a St. Augustine contractor was working on a problem that he had in a house in Tampa Bay.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm not sure about the wisdom of somebody who's, how far is it to St. Augustine? It's like 3.5, 4 hours by car. It's hundreds of miles. How is it possible that that contractor is going to be able to navigate the challenges of a local county here? So I urge you that if you do have challenges in real estate, and if you're in real estate, you're going to have challenges, always use a local contractor or local attorney, a local surveyor, all of the vendors that are in the market that your property is in. This is a story. In 2000, I don't know, 1 or 2, when I just got into real estate, back when you could go into the courthouse and walk up to one of the judge's chambers. They don't allow that now. So I went into the judge's chambers for this one particular judge. I had something I had to do, and the judge's assistant, and I'm not going to name names, but I asked her, who do you like in real estate attorneys? And she said, I'm going to tell you who, Matt Elrod. If you're in Pasco County, he's just right down from the courthouse. And I've used Matt for 25, 26 years.
What road is he on?
He's on Rowan.
Rowan.
You're right.
Yeah.
You knew that. He's on Rowan Road. I didn't know there was going to be a
sent me
test.
over there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I go there quite a bit, actually. I really like Matt and his office. But anyway, consider using local talent when you're using professionals in each market. A lot of these stories are going to come up from actual events. The second tip, in no particular order except numeric, is no closings on financing deals after 2 p.m. Do you know why?
Because you can't wire the money.
They want to see all the paperwork back at the underwriter or the mortgage company before they fund. So if everything has to be signed and your buyer comes in at 2:00 and spends an hour signing, and then that paperwork has to be uploaded into the portal where the mortgage company is, and then they have to review it, and then they wire the money. So no closings after 2 p.m. unless they're cash. Number 3 is dovetails nicely into number 2, and that has to do with California lenders. California lenders are the same thing. No closings after 2:00 with California lenders. Here's a new one, and I want to thank Michael Dumas for this one. If you're buying a home, if you're a wholesaler and you're buying a home, or if you're a listing agent and you're listing a home, get a copy of the driver's license of the seller. There are 2 advantages to this. There's 2 things that get knocked out. One is you can avoid deed fraud by verifying that you're actually talking to the owner. And the second thing, and this is so genius, driver's licenses expire. And if you're doing a sale in 6 weeks and your seller's driver's license expires in 4 weeks, you don't want to
accept it.
They won't notarize it.
Yeah.
So you have to have a valid driver's license or the notaries will not accept it. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard this one before. It's one of the advantages of going to these trainings and these meetings to get these kinds of ideas. But I will always remember the nightmare story that he told about his adventure. The seller was in a assisted living facility. They no longer drove. Their driver's license expired, and they had no intention of renewing and had no idea that they were going to have a problem with their closing. And there is something that can be done, and you can hire me if you have a challenge, and I'll tell you what it is.
Wow.
Okay. One of the big things that I'm very much a advocate of is dogs and pets and pet restrictions. And when shopping, if you have a small dog, be sure to click the box. Because if you have a small dog, it can go into any community that allows for medium-sized dogs. If you have a small dog, you can go into a community with large dogs and extra large dogs. So if you click small dogs and there's only 130 of them, that's not right.
Might be more.
You click medium-sized, large, extra large, and then what else can allow small dogs?
No HOA.
No HOA means no deed restrictions. So if you have an animal and you're having trouble finding a house, it may very well just be a function of the way you're searching. And you want to search by logic. Computers are so, they don't say, oh, by the way, if you search it this way, you'll get a better response. All right, here's something I learned very recently. Assumable mortgages. You know, FHA mortgages are assumable. VA government mortgages are assumable, but nobody talks about it. And the reason they don't talk about it is because mortgage brokers don't make any money on an assumption. Now, what if you have a 2.5% mortgage on a property and you wanted to sell that property and you have a 2.5% mortgage? Could someone assume that mortgage?
If it's assumable.
Absolutely. But here's the challenge to this. Someone who has a 2.5% mortgage bought the property back in the day, and they likely have a ton of equity. So if you have $100,000 worth of equity and a 2.5% mortgage, that 2.5% mortgage is worth a bunch of money. The problem is there's no mechanism for you to assume that mortgage
without paying the rest.
Without paying the equity.
Yeah.
So
you have to have cash.
Yeah, if you've got $100,000 and you can qualify for an FHA mortgage, you can shop completely different. Realtors do not promote assumable mortgages when they're a lower interest rate. But if you have a low interest rate mortgage, you have something that's very valuable. But here's the challenge, and here's something I just learned. If someone assumes your mortgage, you're actually on the hook for the liability on that mortgage for 2 years. Bet you didn't know that.
No.
I didn't either. That's how you learn. You learn by learning.
Is that for conventional, FHA and VA?
Conventionals likely are not going to be assumable. Government loans are assumable, but you have to qualify. And if you can qualify for an FHA mortgage, you can qualify to assume an FHA mortgage. The challenge is can you buy out the seller's equity? Now, if they have no equity, well, it's likely they have a higher interest rate. But that's not necessarily an absolute. But most realtors and all mortgage brokers are not excited about helping you assume a mortgage.
No commission.
No commission. All right, surveys. If you need a survey, you're definitely better off by ordering it through a title company. Title companies order surveys every day, all day long in theory.
They know what a deal is. They know who to work with.
They get deals just by the virtue of them calling and say, hi,
I'm a title company.
What's your guy?
Scott.
Scott. Hi, it's Scott from Heartland Title, and I'm calling to get a survey for this address. They don't ask. They just order it and they bill them at that title company's rate. So never order a survey. Always go through a title company.
At the survey company.
Unless you work for a survey company. If your dad's a surveyor, you'll probably get a deal.
Yeah.
All right, here's one that came up, escrow. I don't want to put you on the spot, but there's 3 definitions of escrow. I don't know if there's 3. I know 3. There might be 10 definitions of escrow. You want to get confusing? In California, when you have a sale and you close that sale, they say, we closed escrow. Yeah. But in Florida, we don't use that term.
No.
But we have 2 different terms, we use escrow 2 different ways. We use escrow as a term for withholding the taxes and insurance each month. Oh, they escrow the taxes and insurance. So every month you pay 1/12 of next year's insurance bill, and you pay 1/12 of next year's taxes. But we also use the term escrow for the down payment. The down payment is, I don't know, $10,000. They're going to hold it in escrow at the title company. They're just trying to confuse you.
It's just confusing.
Right, we covered this last week, but we weren't doing tips. And I want to cover it again. When you make an offer, when you're a buyer, you're going to make an offer based on your expectations of the condition. I have seen it come up a couple of times where buyers wouldn't and didn't make offers because they didn't know what to offer. They didn't, I don't know the condition, so I can't make an offer. And I got to say, if you're a buyer's agent and you have a buyer that can't make an offer because they don't know the condition, it just means that you didn't properly brief the buyer on the system. The way the system works is you have to assume that the roof is a roof and it'll pass inspection. You have to assume the water heater is a water heater and it'll pass inspection. We have to assume the air conditioner is an air conditioner and it'll pass inspection. But then we do an inspection and then we find out that the roof won't pass and the AC doesn't pass. And what we have to do then is renegotiate the transaction.
Based on what you learned.
How could you know what the condition is? But you could have a buyer sitting out there who doesn't realize the way it works. It goes, make an offer, do an inspection, and renegotiate. A very sharp realtor said, the negotiation doesn't start until the home inspection ends.
I've heard that.
I said that.
Yeah, I like it.
So if you are thinking of making an offer, I told the story last week or the week before about the $275,000 house. We knew it was a 20-year-old roof and a 20-year-old water heater and a 20-year-old air conditioner. And we knew that it wasn't going to pass inspection. And they wouldn't take our offer because our offer was contingent upon inspection. And they knew, and we knew, and my buyer knew, and the selling agent all knew that this thing wasn't going to pass inspection. And our plan was to buy it or make the offer and then renegotiate and get a new roof and a new water heater and a new air conditioner. So anyway, if you're trying to buy something, don't worry about, well, you worry about it, don't get me wrong, because if you do pay for an inspection and they won't make the repairs, you could be out the money for the inspection.
Not might be, you will be.
You will be out that money, but you can use that as a negotiating tactic to get concessions, a price reduction, or the repairs. All right, number 10. This is interesting. Dave Ramsey is another radio show host, and he sells leads to the public. He sells realtor names. And the way that he gets paid to give out these leads. And what he said the other day blew me away. He said, never do business with friends or family. And I thought about it. Why would he say that? And the answer is, if you have a competent realtor that's a friend or a family, you already hired him. So you're never going to go on to some site like Dave Ramsey's to find a realtor. Nobody is going on to his site to find a realtor if they have a competent realtor. So his saying, let me protect you, don't do business with friends and family, it's genius, because nobody's calling Dave Ramsey who already has a realtor. You're not impressed with that.
Not a fan. Not a fan.
Not a fan of that tip.
No, not a fan of that guy.
Oh, don't say anything. All right. So always look at the old listings when you have a property that you're buying. You never know what a listing from 15 years ago is going to say. You'll see it's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home, but 10 years ago, it was only 3 bedrooms. And before that, it was a 2-1. What happened?
Growth.
growth, inflation. No. What happened was that they expanded the house.
Exactly.
And so what do you have to do?
Check permits.
You have to check to see if the permits were pulled. Now, a lot of people who buy for cash, they may not be looking at permits. But if you have a realtor and you have a title company, well, listen, even if you have a title company's not going to tell you there's unpermitted work. You need a realtor, or you need to be able to get onto these various sites and look at how the house evolved over time to make sure that there's not some hidden nightmare. That's a big thing with sinkhole houses, settlement houses, homes that had repairs. You can look at the 2003 listing and it was a sinkhole house. And then in the 2008 listing, it wasn't. In the 2012 listing, it wasn't. And today it's not. But if you look and there's no permit pulled, it doesn't mean it wasn't repaired because they changed the systems. But,
Right.
you know, you can buy, bad title, and you can buy homes that don't pass inspection, and you can buy problems, but you want to know about them. You don't want to be buying them and then finding out about the issues after you already own the property.
Right.
So a lot of these tips come up because of real life examples of challenges. When shopping for a subdivision, get the name of all of the communities within the subdivision. For example, Gulf Harbors. You know Gulf Harbors.
Oh, yeah.
What are the names of the other subdivisions in Gulf Harbors?
Forest.
Yep, Gulf Harbors, Sea Forest.
That's all I know.
That's all you know. Florimar.
Florimar.
Gulf Harbors, Woodlands.
Mm-hmm.
So how, if you're doing a search and you don't even realize you only have one of the neighborhood names, how do you search all of the neighborhoods?
Hire a professional.
I love it.
Randal Jenkins.
Thank you.
727-409-4663.
This
Home.
message was brought to you by Eric Jenkins.
727-409-3484.
All right, so there's two ways to search. One of them is the wild card, which is the star. When you look at the keyboard, it's capital 8.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wild card symbol. So if, for example, you wanted to know all of the Gulf Harbors neighborhoods, you could put in Gulf Harbors space wild card. That's the capital 8, the star. And that'll give you all of the Gulf Harbors
Neighborhood names.
But here's a
Wow.
challenge. Florimar doesn't begin with Gulf Harbors. So how do you get the Gulf Harbors and the Florimar and the Sea Forest and the Woodlands? They're all basically the same neighborhood. How do you get them all in one search?
Zip code.
No.
Call Randy.
Call Randy. I'm going to tell you how to do it. Call Eric.
I don't know how.
You do know how.
I do.
Yeah, you use the map search. You
Oh,
draw,
so-
just
yeah.
draw,
Manual draw it. Yeah.
draw it by.
Yeah.
Good. And if you don't know what that means and you're a realtor,
Call Randy.
call your broker. Although I do provide coaching, I'll be happy to
help him.
help you. And thanks for listening. All right, land trusts. Are you following this gal, Kristen Martinez?
Oh, yeah, the lawyer.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
So there's this gal on Facebook who's giving out all of this
No,
great.
it's not Facebook.
I watch her on Facebook.
Oh, I watch
You're
her.
watching her on Instagram.
Yeah.
She's given out incredible advice,
Mm-hmm.
and she's changing behaviors because she's changing my behavior.
Mm.
And she did a discussion of land trust. Now, before I start, I'm telling you right now, I am not giving you legal advice.
Oh.
Okay, we'll call this opinion. We'll call this
CYA.
hearsay. We'll call this
CYA.
interesting stuff. Now, I've done
Interesting
hundreds
stuff.
of deals where the property was in a land trust. And then you say, well, why would you put a property in a land trust? And there's a couple of reasons, and I'm not going to tell you that they're all the reasons, but a land trust by itself, a one-house land trust, is a one-house land trust. What's that called when you use the word to give the definition. When you get sued, they sue you. No, they don't. They sue the property owner. And if the property owner is a land trust, they only sue the property owner, which is the land trust. But if that property is in, for example, your name, and they sue you, and you lose, and there's a judgment, that judgment goes against your bank account, and it goes against all of the other properties that are in your name. So the idea behind using a land trust to protect ownership is really not the biggest benefit to a land trust. Land trust does provide privacy because it says ABC, 123 Main Street Land Trust. Of course, there is going to be the name of a trustee, but it's not going to give the name of the beneficiary. But the biggest advantage or the biggest benefit is to create not a wall, but you're protecting all of the other assets. If they're all in your name and you've got 10 properties and you lose a lawsuit in one property, that judgment attaches to all of your properties in your name. So the land trust is a way to segregate ownership so that only your land trust will be subject to the judgment.
Tautology.
So greater privacy, simpler ownership transfers, convenient ownership amongst multiple investors, potential estate planning convenience, separation between public title and beneficial ownership. Florida homestead may remain available. If the trust gets sued, it's a one property event. And that's just out of ChatGPT. I am not giving legal advice. I'm telling a story. And the story is contact an attorney. So a lot of the tips I do is realtor tips. The idea is that realtoring and real estate are very closely related. And I do have a marketing group of realtors. We market each other's listings. I do provide training and coaching to my marketing group partners. A lot of my marketing group partners follow this content. And an interesting thing, and I wish Eric just walked off to take a call. Real estate goes, even if you have a radio show, 80% of the sales occur in the 5th to 12th contact, meaning you sent them something, you emailed them, you texted them, you called them, I don't know what else you can do. You made a post on social media. And then today, I'm in a training class, and they said that the average sale is not made until the 30th touch. And that's just scary and mind-boggling. And it dovetails nicely into my book, Realtoring in the Time of Ghosting, where I talk about how you have to have a presence in the marketplace through your real estate feed, because by the time someone reaches out to you, they've already checked you out. They've already gone through your social media. They've already seen your postings, and they can see that you're real. And that gives you an opportunity to get a lot of touches in without actually being on the phone. Because as my book says, Realtoring in the Time of Ghostings, they don't answer the phone. Nobody wants to talk to a realtor until they want to talk to a realtor. And all you can do is be there when they're ready and hope that they call you. And they're not going to call you if you're a secret agent. You have to be a famous agent. And the only way to do that is by putting out valuable real estate content. And if you are a listener, a first-time listener, please follow my real estate feed. My company's name is Florida Real Estate Partners. My name is Randal Jenkins. So if you go on to Randal Jenkins, Florida Real Estate Partners, you can follow my real estate feed, and you can see what my content is providing as far as education goes. Well, here's one of my favorite subjects. It's MLS keywords. I would love to have Eric in here to challenge him on a test, but I'm going to go ahead and ask Mike, my engineer. No, I'm not. He's looking at me. No. The question is, how many ways can you search on MLS? And the answer is there's about 1,330 check boxes or single choice selections on MLS. And there's roughly 170 to 200 write-in fields for price and dates and measurements, remarks and addresses and other information. So there's maybe 1,500 ways to search for a house on MLS. Do you know how many Zillow has? No, Randy, how many? Well, I didn't verify this personally, but ChatGPT said there were 23 searchable Zillow data entry fields. So how do you keep your house top of mind when you're searching for Zillow and there aren't any searchable criteria for what you're looking for? And the answer is MLS keywords. So you put the entries into MLS. You fill out the MLS data entry form and you upload it into MLS. And there's, let's say, 1,500 data entry points. And then somebody goes on Zillow and they want, I don't know, they want a block home that's Gulf access, waterfront, that allows 100-pound dogs. Well, none of those search criteria are on Zillow. But there's a way that you realtors and you sellers can get those keywords onto Zillow. And that's by putting the MLS keyword searches on the MLS listing so that Zillow will pick up the public remarks and those keywords will be searchable on Zillow. And I track my listings. I know where my leads are coming from. And Zillow gets more searches than any other online access resource. MLS, the public can't go on MLS. They can go on realtor.com, but they can't go on MLS. But Zillow by far is the most, although homes.com is coming up quickly and there's some real advantages to homes.com. And this is not a paid endorsement, but I do pay homes.com because I'm so impressed with what they have to offer. So we're talking about MLS, we're talking about realtoring, and we're talking about tips. One of the things that I think is extremely interesting and extremely compelling is when you ask the public, what's MLS about? And what people think is that MLS is a platform for selling homes. And they are. I mean, it is. I mean, it's a platform for selling homes. But that's not the big deal about MLS. MLS is really a buyer matching service. Think about it. Buyers don't go on MLS or on Zillow or, they're not there. They don't care about that seller's needs or wants or desires. They're caring about their own needs and wants and desires. They're buyers. They want what they want. So if you treat MLS as a listing service, you may totally miss the point that it's a buyer matching service. So what this means to me is to fill in the blanks, put down 100-pound dog, put down all of the data that people search for. And let me tell you something. If you put, for example, under lease restrictions, if you leave it blank or you say buyer to verify, and some investor comes along, oh, look at this house. It's a great deal. The cash on cash works. I love this house. Let's buy it. And they put it under contract with a 15-day inspection. And then on the 14th day, they find out there's a 2-year deed restriction that won't allow them to rent the house out. they're going to walk away. And you just tied up that house for 2 weeks for no reason with a buyer that never would have bought that house. So not is it just important to put the information on the MLS listing for the purpose of selling the property, it's also really important to keep the wrong buyer from tying the house up and then not buying the house. All right, so be frank with you. I don't know all of these tips. I cheated and I asked AI for help coming up with some really weird, bizarre real estate tips that aren't what I thought of. I mean, I've got 120 real estate tips that I thought of, but there's some that I never thought of that came out of AI. Don't just inspect the house, inspect the neighbors. Eric's coming back. Welcome.
Hey.
Did you take a call in the middle of my show?
I had this situation.
Oh, I hope everything's okay.
Oh, heck yeah.
You didn't eat some of that bad lettuce, did you?
Not funny. People die from it now.
Oh, I know. We can't joke about
Not
that.
funny.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From lettuce.
But now the Chipotle pulled all the hot peppers because they're now causing grief.
Wow.
Anyway, I'm doing the neighbor test.
Mm.
This is not a normal one. I never heard of it or thought of it, but AI gave me a bunch of new ones so that I could have content here. Drive by the house at 7 a.m., noon, 5 p.m., and 9 p.m., and on a Saturday.
Yeah, definitely.
The perfect house next to the barking dog, the backyard mechanic, the Airbnb party house, the junk collector can be your biggest regret. You can renovate the house, but you can't renovate the neighbors.
Motorcycle racing in the backyard in the huge field. Loud, going through the neighborhood fast. You don't see that on the weekday, but the weekend.
One of my real estate tips that is not on today's list has to do with talking to the neighbors on the left side and the right side of the house. After you get it under contract, while you're still in your inspection period, you knock on the door and you say, "Hi, I'm Randy. I'm buying the house next door. I'm so excited. I just wanted to introduce myself." And they're going to tell you everything about that house. They're going to tell you stuff that you wouldn't have gotten to learn until after you bought the house and met the neighbor. You might as well find out before you get out of your inspection period so that you can run if indeed it's a deal breaker.
Although you've had deals that you've had where a neighbor would come over when it's shown and talk crap about it.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
That's not good. When they come over and badmouth the house, there's not a lot you can do.
What did you do?
We got the
them.
attorney to send them a cease and desist order
Wow.
and threaten them that we were not happy with their behavior, that their behavior is, I don't know what the legal word, slandering the property. They're, going out of their way to cause grief and heartache for us as sellers. And there's not a lot you can do. I have a friend, I might have talked about him in one of the shows. He can make one of his eyes turn up, and he can make a really, really scary face. And when he had tenants who didn't pay, he would go over there and he would breathe really hard, and he'd make his eye go up there, and he'd say, you need to get out of this house. And he would scare the hell out of them. They would leave. So we could reach out to him and have him tell the neighbor to stop bad-mouthing the house. All right, number 19, the highest and best use isn't always residential. A house located on a busy road may actually be worth more as a future commercial property than a residence.
Yeah.
Many homeowners sell to families when they should have marketed to developers and investors. There's a theory in real estate called highest and best use. And this dovetails nicely into it. But if you have a residential property on a main road, you may consider consulting with a commercial realtor as opposed to a residential realtor, even if it is residential at the time of the listing.
What about a non-paved road?
Non-paved roads are a challenge with financing. There's some lenders and some financing that will not allow you to buy a property on a non-paved road.
What else is bad?
Non-paved roads could mean and likely will mean future paving liens. Oh, that wasn't the answer?
That was good.
That's a good answer?
Good answer.
So if you're going to buy on a non-paved road, buy a flag lot.
Oh, good.
Because basically, paving lanes are based on the frontage. If you have 100 feet, you pay by the foot for your paving lane. And when you're looking at vacant land, I have a whole formula. I have a whole video on vacant land.
No, you don't.
I do.
Wow.
Because I have a theory about vacant land. No
Theory.
flood zones, paved roads, and
Well, how about a corner lot that's not paved?
oh dear, you could have 200, 300 feet
On both
of
sides.
frontage. Hey, I have 2 lots right now. There are 3 sides are roads.
Dirt?
They're paved.
Oh,
But you theoretically could have a paving lien that's larger than the value of the home, of the property.
My gosh.
So you definitely, when you search vacant lots and you see there's a whole bunch of $6,500 lots, and there's some $12,000 lots, and there's $23,000 lots, and then there's $40,000 lots, it may very well be that the $40,000 lot is the cheapest of all those
They
lots.
could have sewer right at the road.
It's very, very critical that if you're buying vacant land, that you don't go mess up. All right, another one of these tips that I have never heard is ask the fire department. One call to the local fire department can reveal things most buyers never think to ask, like the distance to the nearest fire station, the ISO fire rating, water supply, future station plans. These factors can affect insurance premiums and emergency response times.
Wow.
And could affect your insurance. So if you buy a house with a fire hydrant in the front yard, be sure to tell your insurance company you want a discount. Check cell phone reception before you buy. Who'd have thunk it? It makes so much sense. You buy a house, you move in, you find out you don't have cell phone reception. It'd be a shame to learn that the day after closing. Walk around the property and test your cell phone. Poor reception can be a deal breaker for remote workers, home businesses, security systems, internet backup. Most buyers don't discover this until after moving in.
I had a large, tall client one time where the bathroom stall, it was impossible to stand up. The wall was too close.
So what are you saying? You have to test each toilet?
Well, I don't know about
Sometimes
testing.
we have to reach deep to find our tips.
Be tough.
How about mail delivery? Not every property receives normal mail delivery. Some require cluster mailboxes, PO boxes, rural delivery, special addressing. It sounds minor until Amazon, FedEx, and UPS can't find your house. Look up, not just around. Large transmission lines, communication towers, and future utility corridors may not bother everyone, but they may reduce the buyer pool. Even if they don't affect value today, they may affect resale tomorrow. Parking. Street parking can matter more than a garage. Some neighborhoods strictly prohibit overnight street parking. And if you have teen drivers and company vehicles and boats and RVs and frequent guests, parking restrictions can be a real nightmare. That one property I have, Avanti, there's nowhere to park. I mean, there is a
Pristine.
Is that
Up in
another
Hudson.
one?
Can't park on the street.
Can't park on the street.
And they won't let you park on your yard.
You can't park on your yard.
They had to come a quarter of a mile.
Tiki
and park on
Village. You have to park
somewhere
a block
else and
over.
then come pick up.
Yeah. Check future road projects. Many buyers only look at today's traffic, but the county's 5 and 10-year transportation plans may show road widening, new intersections, traffic lights, highway expansion, future eminent domain. Today's quiet street may become tomorrow's major thoroughfare. Title insurance doesn't cover everything. Number 26. Boundary disputes, survey matters, unrecorded rights, problems created after closing. Understanding what is not covered can be just as important as understanding what is. Don't buy the cheapest house, buy the cheapest house that meets your long-term needs. The cheapest home often becomes the most expensive if you outgrow it in 2 years. Buying slightly more house today can save you another move, another set of closing fees, another commission, another interest rate gamble. Sometimes the least expensive decision is not the lowest price. Check which direction the house faces. The direction your house faces matters more than most people realize.
Feng shui.
Well, that and a west-facing home in Florida gets the hottest afternoon sun. East-facing homes warm up in the morning and stay cooler later in the day. South-facing pools receive more sunlight than north-facing pools. Orientation affects comfort, energy bills, landscaping, and even resale.
What do you think about getting a survey before you close?
It's an expense. It's, that's not on my list. Share with us why you brought that up.
Well, you had told me once that if you don't do that and you do it after, then
Yeah. No, I missed the point. I thought you meant
Segue.
getting the survey for the purpose of having the title insurance cover it. I thought you meant before you make an offer.
No,
that was bad assumption. Bad radio host. All right, look for homes owned for more than 20 years. Long-term owners have more equity, greater flexibility, better maintenance records, lower mortgage balances, less financial pressure. These owners are sometimes easier to work with than someone who bought it a few years ago and has very little equity. Don't judge a neighborhood during school hours. Visit when people are actually home. Hey, this is like my other hit tip.
yeah.
A neighborhood at 11 a.m. may seem peaceful because everyone's at work. No, I double tipped. So let's talk about your offer today.
Oh,
The net offer. You said the guy said he could take the 140, but that wasn't 140 is not really 140.
no, he got an offer of 140. Property down in South St. Pete near a marina.
And he said, I can take 140.
He said he could take 140. I told him it says 140, but it's not 140 because if you read the contract, it states that the agent that brought the buyer wanted 3% commission and the seller wanted 2% for closing. So 3 and 2 is 5. 5% of 140, $7 grand. That $7 grand you have to minus from the 140. That's 133. That's not good for him.
He can't sell it at that price.
No,
So
he
you
can't do
countered
that.
higher.
So he countered 145, given 7. That gives him 138. That he can do.
You'll see a lot of transactions over the asking price, and it's generally because of concessions. Well, I want to thank you, Mr. Jenkins,
Yes,
for
that was
joining
fun.
me
Thank
today.
you. A lot of notes.
The Randal Jenkins Real Estate Hour here on Tan Talk Radio. We're really excited about the opportunity to share our wisdom. Well, wisdom comes from your mistakes, and we've made them. But our goal here is education. Our goal here is to help our audience become better informed. It may very well be that you will come out of today with a better understanding and information that you did not know before, and that's our goal. Hey, Randal Jenkins, here with Eric Jenkins.
Yes.
Eric, wave bye to the Facebook crowd.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on YouTube. Randal Jenkins Real Estate and Tan Talk Radio. Mike, my engineer, thank you so much for participating. We won't be calling on you today.
Nice.
He's so wise. He just looks with such intelligence. Yeah, you can kill.
WTAN, Clearwater.
FM 106.1.
WDCF, Dade City.
FM 102.3.
Listen.
It's close. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. That's what negotiators are saying about a deal between the U.S. and Iran on reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Iran continues to insist that there are no direct talks underway with the U.S. They do say, however, that they are negotiating with Oman and the International Monetary Fund, really talking about what a hit Iran's economy is taking from the war and from the U.S. blockade. They estimate Iran's current level of inflation at near 70%.
Fox's Steve Harrigan in Tel Aviv. President Trump said earlier a deal could be announced soon. This says new tensions have emerged in the region as the Israeli military issued evacuation warnings for some people living in southern Lebanon. The president now in the swing state of Nevada touting his record on the economy.
Last month, inflation dropped at the fastest rate it's dropped in many years.
The president taking credit for jobs created in Nevada, saying 40,000 were created, and he said 100,000 people in the state are now on off food stamps. He claimed more Americans are working in the U.S. now than any point in history. Fire crews in Washington state making progress against wildfires that have broken out in and around Spokane.
The Old Trails fire broke out Saturday afternoon. Fire crews have been working to build containment lines, and not just the Old Trails fire, but the two others burning here, and they're making some good progress. We got 5% containment with the Fairview fire in Autumn Lane. The most active wildfire is burning at 5,800 acres. It's also 13% contained.
Fox's Sarah Allegre in Spokane. 67,000 people have been forced from their homes, and authorities say it's not clear when they'll be allowed back. A suspect in the Old Trails fire, Aaron Farinacci, is being held on $1 million bail. Wall Street, another record for the Dow, up 263 points. The Nasdaq minus 221. The S&P lost 12. The price of Brent crude oil, the international standard, was little changed at about $79 a barrel. America is listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the